So Leetcode practice time. In this video there are two goals. The first goal is to see how to solve this problem. So we are going to find the solution and then we are going to do some coding work. And the second goal is to see how we should behave in a real interview. So let's get started. So remember, in a real interview, the first step is always try to understand the problem. So if there is anything unclear, please bring up the question to the interviewer and at the same time think about some edge cases. So let's take a look at this question. It's called Analyze User Web Visit Pattern. So we are given some website visits. The user with username I visited website I at the timestamp I. So 3 sequence is a list of the websites of length 3 sorted in ascending order by the time of their visits. So find the 3 sequence visited by the largest number of users. If there is more than one solution, return the lexicographically smallest such 3 sequence. Alright, so let's see this example. We have those names, the timestamp, and the website. So we combine those 3 arrays into the tuples, and then we find that the 3 sequence home about Korea visited at least once, visited twice. Okay, visited at least once by 2 users. What are we going to return? So find the 3 sequence visited by a large number of the users. So if a user has more than if a user has a 3 sequence visited more than once, then we just count it as once, because we are actually trying to see the 3 sequences by different users. Alright, so I think I pretty much understand it. And n is between 3 and 50. So user I.length is between 1 to 10. And timestamp between 0 to 10 to the power to 1 billion. Both username and website I contain only lowercase characters. And it's guaranteed there is at least one user who visited at least 3 websites. No user visit 2 websites at the same time. Okay, I think I pretty much understand the question. Let's see how to solve this problem. So I think from what I can see, the solution could be, I think the solution would be, first of all, we have the user and the visit pattern. Let's say for user Joe, it has a pattern from home to about to career. So we are going to find all the 3 sequences based on the visits. So it is going to like a 3-layer for loop for that. And then we do some stats, and after we have that for all the users, we are going to have some stats for that. And also, it doesn't say that the timestamp is sorted in ascending order, so potentially we also need to do some sort. So let's say for the first step, we are going to find the visit sequence. So the first step is to have a map. I would say a map of the so the key is username, and value is a list of the websites visited by the user, and it is sorted in ascending order by the timestamp. And then we are going to find all the tuples, and we are going to have a map of the username to the tuples to the 3 tuples, I think. So if we have that, if we have the 3 tuple and the username, what should we do? So we have the username and the 3 tuple. Well, I think so. Well, I think it's not. Let's not do that. Also, let's not do that. So let's say after we have the map from the user to the list of the website, we are going to have a 3-layer for loop on the list of the websites. So then we are going to have like a 3 sequence tuple, 3 sequence, and then we are going to put it into a so we are going to have a map from the sequence 3 sequence to the set of the username. So here in this triple for loop, we are going to generate this one, which is a 3 sequence to the usernames, and then we are going to go through the map to get the 3 sequence that has the largest size of the username. If there are 2 of them that has the same username, 3 sequence have the same number of the usernames, then we are just going to return the graphical smallest one. So I think having said that, the overall runtime is going to be, so let's say there are n users, and each user has visited m websites in average. So to generate all the 3 tuples for each user, it is going to 3 to m to the power m cube times m cube times n. This is this step, which is generating the 3 sequence to the usernames. And after that, we will need to go through everything, like every 3 sequence. So every 3 sequence, yeah, this one it's really it's weird. So like this one, we need to do, like for the username, we need to at least go through everything. So it would be something like m plus n, then n. So it's something like this. But we can say that this one we can omit it, and this one we can also omit it. So it's actually n times m cube. Alright, so having said that, let's do some coding work. So for coding, we care about the correctness of the code, the readability of the code, and of course don't be too slow. So let's do let's give it a try for the coding work. So first of all, we need to have the username to the website. Let's see how to do it. So and by the way, I think for each username we need to sort it. So for sorting, it is m log m. So it doesn't matter though. So the overall runtime is still this one. So we are going to generate, let's say we define a helper function. Let's call it so we are going to return the string and the list of the string though, or maybe we can just define a class. Let's say we define a class, call it a visit. So in the visit we have two things. One is the website, and the second one is the timestamp. So let's give it a constructor. Let's say public visit. So this dot website is equal to website. This dot timestamp is equal to timestamp. So this is the string website. This is the integer of timestamp. Alright, so for here we are going to say we get the this is get user visit, get user visit, let's say. So we are going to pass in the username, and we are going to pass in the timestamp as well, and we are going to pass in the website. So let's say you are going to go through everything. Let's just assume the length of the 3 arrays, they are the same. So did they say they are the same? Okay, they said that. Let's say int I is equal to 0, I is smaller than username dot length plus I. So we are going to have a map. Let's call a string and a list of the visits. Let's say this is user visits is new let's say hash map. Yep. And then the next step, we are going to update this hash map. So if user visit, if the user visit doesn't contains key of username I, then we are going to have user visits dot put username I and new say array list, and then we will say user visits dot get user name I dot add the new visit, right? The new visit, which is first one is the website I, and next one is timestamp I. Yeah, so that should be it. And after that, after everything is done, we need to iterate through everything, every entry in this map, and then do the sort for the visit based on the timestamp. So let's say this is string username for user visits. This is a key, and the value is the list of the visits is equal to the user visits dot get username, and then we are going to sort. So collections dot sort, right? So we are going to pass in. So if we just sort, you can just do lambda, I think. It is going to be visit 1, visit 2, and then it is going to return visit 1 dot this is timestamp minus visit 2 dot timestamp. Yeah, so after that everything is sorted, then we just return the user visits. So for this map, the key is username, and the value is the list of the visits of the website sorted by timestamp. So next, within the function, we are going to call, say, map of string of list of the visits. Then it is user visits is get user visit. This is username, this is timestamp, and this is website. So let's say it's a username, timestamp, and website. Yeah, so after that, we will need to go through the next step, which is about getting the string sequence and the set of the username. So for each username, it is, so for a string of the username, in user visits dot keyset and it is a list of the visits. Let's say visits is equal to user visits dot get the username and you need to go through a triple for loop. So for the triple for loop, essentially it's about finding all the visits. So for all the three sequence, I'm thinking about whether we should just have a helper function to do it. So let's say we don't do a helper function. Let's say I is equal to 0, I is smaller than visits dot length or size, right? -2 and plus I, and then int j is equal to I plus 1, j is smaller than visits dot size -1 plus j, and the k is equal to j plus 1, k is smaller than visits dot size, and plus k. So now we should be able to combine the things into, let's say, the sequence 3. This would be let's say this is visits dot get I dot this is, what is that? It should be, so we are going to return the final subsequence, which is an array, but it's fine. Yeah, so I think I do think I have some question. Is the website going to contain something like the space? If it do contain the space, then we definitely need to define a clause for it. Otherwise, we can just chain all them together into a single string, and then finally we split it into the individual words to be returned. But let's assume that it is just doesn't contain the space. Let's say. So if it doesn't. Okay, so it says that it only contains lowercase characters, so I assume it doesn't contain space. So it doesn't contain space, we are going to say plus I dot, this is webset, plus ijk webset, yeah, so it says I, j, and k. So now we have the 3 sequence. We are going to have the I will define a map for it. So it is a sequence to the set of the username. So sequence user, let's say it's new sequence user, so it's new hash map. So we are going to set user sequence dot so first of all we'll see if the user sequence user, if it doesn't contain sequence, let's just call it sequence. If it doesn't contain the sequence, then we are going to have sequence user dot put the sequence and the new hash set. Otherwise, we are going to have sequence user dot get the sequence dot add the username. Yes, that is a username. And until now, I think we should be all good. And the last step is about finding the sequence that has the largest number of the users. So let's say int max number, let's say max frequency is equal to 0, and the string sequence, like the most frequent sequence is equal to a empty string. So you're gonna say int, no, so it is string of the sequence on sequence user dot keyset, and so if the sequence user dot get sequence dot size is larger than max frequency, then we are going to set the max frequency as this. So max frequency is set at this, and then we are going to update the most frequency. Oh wait, so we could do this. We have another thing to do. If the frequency is equal, then we need to potentially update it. So if the most frequent dot compare to the sequence, so if this one is smaller, then we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, let's see what returns. So compared to returns the integer. So I think if integer is larger than 0, that means this one is larger. So we are going to have most frequent sequence set as sequence, and then we just continue here. Otherwise, we need to update the most frequent sequence with the sequence and update the max frequency as well. And finally, we just need to return the most frequent sequence. Alright, so you know that this one is not really complex regarding the algorithm, but there is quite much code. So after we are done with coding, it's time for us to do some testing. So testing usually goes through a test case, explain how this piece of code is gonna work, and check about the bugs. But let's just depend on this platform to help us debug. So let's say this is 42, which is a list of the visits. It's user visits dot get username. So it says it's not a state. Oh, okay. So it is this should be the visits. Collection sorts visits. Let's say 35. It says that user visits. This is a typo. Okay, so username user visits. So this is a key set. Alright, so let's see. So 41 is username. So user visits key sets. So variable username is already in use. So which one? Oh, okay. So let's say just let's say just name, or just temp. This is just temp. Or maybe just username I, or username I. So line 55. Okay, so there are a lot of typos. So user visits dot key set. So variable username is already there. Alright, so let's say this username I. This is username I and username I. Alright, so until now, I think Hopefully. Okay, the last one, most frequent sequence. Okay, so this should be like split with yeah, split with the space. Cannot convert to. Okay, so this is a string. So array to string, arrays, it is arrays dot to, I think so, to list, or maybe new list, new array list of the string. So I think, I'm not sure if there is a constructor for this, but let's try it. Alright, so there's no constructor to get so this is list dot from, there's nothing. Then let's do the code for it. I'm not sure. So array list of the string, let's say the result is equal to new array list. So this is a list, and then you're going to go through each of the websets. For this is an array, so you're going to say results dot add the website. Then we are going to return the results. Alright, so it's website. Okay, so it's website I, right? Alright, so finally, we are there. Let's do a submission for it. Alright, so yeah, a lot of typos to fix, but glad it works. So that's it for this coding question. If you have any question about the solution or about the puzzle, feel free to leave some comments below. And if you like this video, please help subscribe this channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.